Prepare to be amazed as we discover 25 incredible facts about the United States that even many Americans are not aware of, facts that will turn your world around. When it comes to this nation, from sea to shining sea, from hidden histories and unbelievable records to shocking cultural stories, this collection is a journey into America's lesser-known layers, one fascinating fact at a time. We start with a story that few truly know. Did you realize that America purchased Alaska from Russia for only $7.2 million back in 1867? At the time, this decision was mocked. People labeled it Seward's folly, named after Secretary of State William Seward, who signed the deal. They thought buying what looked like a frozen wasteland was a complete waste of money. But history proved them wrong. Today, Alaska is not only rich in natural resources like oil, gas, and gold, but also home to some of the most breathtaking wilderness on Earth. What was once ridiculed as a mistake has become one of the greatest bargains in U.S. history. Speaking of land and settlement, here's another striking fact. More than 40% of the American population lives within just 50 miles of a coastline. That means nearly half the nation is concentrated along the Atlantic, Pacific, or Gulf shores. The sea has shaped America's culture, economy, history since the very beginning, whether it's trade, naval power, or simply the modern love for beach life. Now, for something that sounds like science fiction, but is absolutely real, the world's largest living organism is not a whale or a redwood tree. It's a giant fungus living beneath Oregon's Blue Mountains. Stretching across nearly 4 square miles underground, this single organism is thousands of years old and continues to thrive silently beneath the forest floor. It's a reminder that nature often hides the most mind-bending secrets right under our feet. And moving from nature to culture, here's one for the history buffs. The Star-Spangled Banner wasn't originally a song. It began as a poem written by Francis Scott Key during the War of 1812, after he witnessed American soldiers holding their ground at Fort McHenry. The sight of the American flag still waving after the battle inspired him. That poem, years later, was set to music and became the anthem sung passionately at sports events and national ceremonies across the country. America's genius doesn't stop at patriotic songs or iconic flags. Take the invention of the light bulb, for example. While Thomas Edison is often credited as the sole inventor, history tells a more complex story. Nikola Tesla and several other brilliant minds contributed to the development of electric light and the systems that powered it. Innovation in America has rarely been the work of just one person. It's a result of rivalry, collaboration, and persistence. The light bulb wasn't just a single spark of genius, but a network of discoveries that lit up the modern world. Now let's look at geography with a tasty twist. Hawaii is the only U.S. state that grows coffee commercially. Thanks to its rich volcanic soil and tropical climate, Hawaii produces unique beans that have become famous among coffee lovers. While the rest of America imports coffee from the global coffee belt, Hawaii quietly stands as the country's own source of this energizing drink. And speaking of money, here's a fact that will surprise you. The U.S. Treasury once printed a $100,000 bill. No, you'll never see one in your wallet. These notes were only used for transactions between Federal Reserve banks, never for the general public. Still, it shows the scale and complexity of America's financial system, where even six-figure bills had their place in history. For sheer natural power, consider this. The Great Lakes hold about 21% of the Earth's surface fresh water. That's 1/5 of the world's freshwater supply in just 5 Lake Superior: Michigan, Huron, Erie, and Ontario. They're not only crucial for shipping and the economy, but also for environmental preservation. Protecting them means protecting one of the largest freshwater sources on the planet. And when it comes to pushing human limits, America has its legends. Take John Glenn, the first American to orbit Earth in 1962. But here's the twist: he returned to space 36 years later at the age of 77, making him the oldest astronaut ever to fly. His career proved that dreams and courage don't come with an expiration date. Even holidays in America have surprising twists. Did you know that Thanksgiving was once canceled? President Franklin Pierce skipped the holiday during his term. But later, in 1863, Abraham Lincoln reinstated it in the midst of the Civil War. hoping to unify a divided nation with a day of gratitude. What began as a fractured tradition became a lasting symbol of American togetherness. Even the American flag has an origin story that few know. The iconic 50-star design wasn't the work of a government committee, but rather a high school student's homework project. Robert G. Heft designed it in 1958. When Alaska and Hawaii were added as states, his simple idea was adopted nationwide. What began as a class assignment became a permanent emblem of unity, flown at schools, homes, and government buildings across the country. Now let's talk about quirky laws. In Utah, it's illegal to fall asleep at the wheel. At first glance, this might sound obvious, of course. Driving drowsy is dangerous, but the law highlights the unique challenges of long, empty stretches of desert highways. It's a reminder that each state adapts its laws to fit its geography and risks, sometimes in ways that seem unusual to outsiders. Shifting back to innovation, did you know that the internet traces its origins to a U.S. Department of Defense project? It's called ARPANET. It started in the late 1960s as a way for researchers to share data. No one at the time could have imagined that this experiment in digital communication would spark a revolution, creating the global network we all depend on today. For a citrus twist, Florida grows more fresh oranges than any other state. But here's the kicker. Its nickname, the Sunshine State, wasn't born from its orchards or climate. Instead, it came from a clever 1970s tourism campaign that stuck. Marketing magic turned a slogan into a state identity that millions recognize today. Food trivia adds another layer of surprise. The sandwich, which Americans have turned into everything from PB&J staples to towering deli creations, actually originated in England with John Montagu, the 4th Earl of Sandwich. But Americans adopted it as their own, transforming it into an essential part of daily life, from school lunches to fast food culture. And in military history, the United States led the way in adopting drones for combat use. What began as experimental technology reshaped modern warfare, raising ethical debates that continue today. From reconnaissance to precision strikes, America's embrace of drone technology changed the way nations fight wars. Let's pause for a moment on something symbolic. The Statue of Liberty on icon recognized around the world actually carries the official name, Liberty Enlightening the World. Gifted by France in 1886, it was meant to celebrate freedom and friendship between nations. Over time, it became far more than a diplomatic token. For millions of immigrants arriving by ship, it was the first sight of America, a towering figure of hope, new beginnings, and the promise of a better life. Now, here's a story of reinvention. Detroit was once known as the car capital of the world, the beating heart of America's auto industry. But when industries shifted and factories closed, the city faced economic collapse. Many thought Detroit would fade into history, yet today, it's reinventing itself through art, technology, and resilience. From music festivals to startups, Detroit is proof that the American spirit can rebuild and thrive against all odds. If you think the Old West lasted forever, here's a shocker. The legendary Pony Express only ran for about 18 months. Despite its short lifespan, it captured the imagination of generations, symbolizing bravery, speed, and the pioneering will to connect distant parts of the nation. It's a reminder that sometimes legends outlast reality, embedding themselves deeply into cultural memory. Nature also holds marvels that rival history. In California, the redwood trees tower over 350 feet tall, making them some of the tallest living organisms on Earth. Walking through a redwood forest feels like stepping back in time, giants that have stood for centuries. Silent witnesses to the unfolding of American history. Finally, let's end on everyday genius. Many everyday inventions that shape modern life, like the microwave oven and GPS, were developed in the United States. While they may seem ordinary today, these tools revolutionized how we cook, travel, and navigate our daily lives. It's a reminder that innovation isn't always about massive machines or grand discoveries. Sometimes it's the small conveniences that change the world most profoundly. As we wrap up this journey through 25 incredible facts about the United States, one truth shines above them all. America is a nation layered with hidden surprises. From forgotten histories and quirky laws to natural wonders and groundbreaking inventions, the U.S. is more than just a collection of states. It's a living story still being written. Think about it. A country that once bought Alaska for a mistake turned it into one of its richest resources. A flag designed by a high school student became a national symbol. A fungus quietly thriving under Oregon's soil is the largest living organism on Earth. These are not just facts. They're reminders that curiosity always pays off, and that the extraordinary often hides in plain sight. And perhaps that's the real magic of America. Its ability to surprise, to reinvent, and to challenge expectations. Whether it's through the tallest trees, the oldest astronauts, or innovations that now fit in the palm of your hand. The U.S. continues to remind us that history is not just about the past, it's about shaping the present and the future. So, which of these facts shocked you the most? Was it the $100,000 bill that never made it into wallets? Or the revelation that nearly half of Americans live within 50 miles of the ocean? Maybe it was the idea that Thanksgiving itself was once canceled. Each fact carries a story, and each story reshapes the way we see this nation. If you've enjoyed uncovering these hidden gems of history and culture, here's your next step. Don't let the journey stop here. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with your friends who love history, travel, and surprising discoveries. And drop a comment below. Tell us which fact completely changed your perspective about America. Stay curious. Keep questioning. And remember, the most fascinating stories are often the ones waiting just beneath the surface. Until next time, keep exploring, because America and the world still has countless secrets left to uncover.